I took him in for an x-ray because he was complaining about his leg hurting. And since he was, boxing at the time and doing contact sports, we're like, oh, maybe he got injured, he fractured it or something. And the nurse noticed that he was kind of pale. And she's like, I'm gonna take a blood sample just to be sure. And then she came back and she said, oh, your son's really sick. We gotta put him in an isolated room. And I just felt numb, I didn't know what to think. And then kind of like worried at the same time too, shocked.
We weren't sure exactly what was going on, and it was just kind of a shock to us at first that there was something else that we were just unsure about. So.
Got 1,000 things running through your head. Don't know what's gonna happen. Don't know why.
When we encounter a patient like this, we always think about two things. One is that for some reason the bone marrow shut down and is not making all of these cells, or the bone marrow is involved with the other cells in the bone marrow that is replacing the bone marrow. There is no room for normal cell to grow.
Ian has aplastic anemia.
And the term basically means something caused his bone marrow to die. Most of these children, it's typically some sort of an infection, usually viral, and then triggers an autoimmune process that destroys the bone marrow. The conventional therapy for that is to give immune suppressive therapy. So he was started on a couple of different medications.
We treated him about 5-6 months, and he did not have a response to the treatment, end up receiving blood, platelet transfusion.
But a small fraction, unfortunately, don't respond, and Ian fell into that group. For children who don't respond to the immune suppressive therapy, really their fate is inexorably towards acquiring infections because of the low blood counts, or bleeding because of the low platelet counts, and death unless their bone marrow can be cured or given new stem cells. So Ian didn't have any brothers or sisters that could be used, or at least that were histocompatible with him, that could be used for a bone marrow transplant. So we then had to initiate what's called an unrelated donor search. And this is supported by registries around the world. In the United States, you can access all of the worldwide registries collectively through the National Marrow Donor Program.
And this is a program where people can donate all over the world. And through that, it opens up a world of people willing to donate and give, to me, the most amazing gift. They're giving it to a total stranger.
A match was found that was not perfect. His was a very difficult transplant. An unrelated donor, even a fully matched one for the areas that we do test, has a higher risk that the immune system between the recipient and the donor may be difficult to get them to work together.
Ian's had a lot of problems with the graft versus host disease. He's had pretty significant graft versus host disease. He's not gotten his platelet count back very quickly, and so he's required many, many units of platelets and blood along the way, more than someone who didn't have that problem.
A patient like Ian that only can survive if the blood or platelet or blood product is available. Otherwise, there is no way they can survive.
It has taken the better part of a year to try and get this immune system to work within his body without actually damaging his body.
I just always think of it kind of like a roller coaster, just up and down, and you think things are going good at one point, and then just sometimes it just changes.
He's now, showing that the graft, the donor's stem cells, are now becoming tolerant to him, and his bone marrow, as a result, has flourished, and he's back to normal blood counts with no evidence of adverse reactions from the donor graft against his body.
And now we're lifting a lot of restrictions, and he's becoming a normal kid. He's a joy to take care of. I've watched him grow up. He seems so much older now than he was when he first came to us. He's a very creative little boy. It always amazes me how resilient kids are. they're just amazing little heroes.
I don't think there's words to explain how I feel about him just hanging on there and keep pushing forward. I'm as proud as any father would be of their son, you know.
You have to have blood and platelets to support someone. When we give them the chemotherapy to get rid of either the cancer or their immune system so we can put a new bone marrow in, there's a 2 to 3 week period that they have no functioning bone marrow. And the bone marrow makes your blood and your platelets. Platelets make you not bleed. And the blood is what supports your blood pressure, carries your oxygen. And so if I didn't have blood products to support someone through those 2 to 3 weeks before the bone marrow functions, you couldn't do a bone marrow transplant.
Blood products are the lifeblood of doing a bone marrow transplant. It cannot be done without adequate access to blood, platelets, fresh frozen plasma, and so on. Lifestream has been a partner with us for many decades, actually, with Loma Linda. They are an NMDP donor center as well, so they are in the business of recruiting new donors for the National Marrow Donor Program. If you look at the National Marrow Donor Registry, what's available worldwide, it is people of mixed race and particularly African American, to some extent Hispanic, that are underrepresented in the registry compared to the need. For your garden variety Caucasian individual, there's probably a much better than 70% chance now of finding a perfect match and a younger donor. So we have little trouble in that group of patients. We have tens of millions of donors now in the registry. But those probabilities drop to 50%, 40% or lower for people of certain ethnicities and particularly mixed ethnicities. So if you are of Asian descent, Pacific Islander, Arabic, or Middle Eastern or African American, we desperately need more donors in those groups.
The way I look at it is you're able to give the gift of life to a person when you donate. And what better gift to be able to give to someone? It just takes an hour or two out of your life to go and donate to be able to give someone the rest of their life.
I was always curious about it, but like I said, I never knew the facts. You know, if I would have known the facts, I would have donated blood a long time ago. Yeah, you just walk in, answer a couple questions, and you know, they just walk you through the procedure, and next thing you know, you're out of there. You know, you can save a life, 15 minutes.
Without the participation of Lifestream in Ian's case, Ian would have done very poorly. There are times that this child has had problems with antibodies that you have to cross-match every unit to find a unit that would be compatible, which is a very time-consuming project to do. And sometimes even on weekends, we've had to have people come in and do that. And they've been very accommodating to be able to give us the supplies of things that we need for our patient to do well.
The disorder that he has, I feel like his childhood was kind of put on hold. But thanks to Lifestream and their blood products, I feel like he's one step in, you know, getting it all back. You know. Thank you, Lifestream, and Ian, thanks you too.
Hello, Ian. How are you? It is very exciting to know that you are doing great now. There was nothing that makes me more happy that I can do a little than save somebody's life. Just a simple step, and you could be a match of somebody who really needs your help, no matter it's a bone marrow transplant or it's just simple blood donation. My name is Cyrus Liu, and I help save Ian's life with bone marrow transplant.